Good morning. Happy Monday. It is time for just a word from the Word. Our passage this morning comes from the book of Genesis, chapter 22, verses 13 and 14, and I'm reading from the King James. Here's what it says. And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his horns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. Verse 14. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. I want to talk to you a little bit this morning about the God who sees. You know the story of Abraham and Isaac, but just in case you don't, or just in case you need to be reminded, let me quickly give you the synopsis. Abraham and Sarah were promised a son by God. It didn't happen, it didn't happen, it didn't happen, it didn't happen. Finally, at the age of 100 for Abraham and the age of 90 for Sarah, Sarah gives birth to Abraham's son, and they name him Isaac. He's a miracle, absolute miracle walking on this earth. Things go on, other situations come up, not going to talk about those this morning, but at some point in time, somewhere, people think he was around, 13, 15, maybe even older. I've not seen full consensus about how old Isaac was at this point, but sometime in Isaac's young life, God comes to Abraham and says, Abraham, I want you to sacrifice and offer your son to me. And I know that we've talked about this in my little devotions. I just want to come at it from a little bit of a different perspective. So Abraham obediently gathers what is necessary and takes his son. God had told Abraham, go to the place that I tell you of. And so Abraham just starts walking. God orders his steps. There's a lesson. And God takes him to what we call Mount Moriah. Abraham builds the altar, gets the sticks laid on the altar, has a fire, ties up his son, lays him on the altar, and is ready to plunge a knife into his son when God stops him. After God stops Abraham, Abraham then turns and sees a ram caught in the bushes. So somewhere along the lines, as Abraham and Isaac are going up one side of the mountain, or the ram is going up the other side. And they get there. When Abraham sees the ram, he offers the ram instead of offering his son. And then Abraham calls the place where all this miraculous stuff happened Jehovah Jireh. Now, most of the time, 99% of the time, you're going to hear it translated as the God who provides. And yes, it is. I'm not going against that. But did you catch the last phrase of verse 14? Let me read it again. In the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. Jehovah Jireh is more than the God who provides. It's the God who sees. It's the God who sees. God doesn't just provide your needs. He sees what you need so that when the provision comes, you know that God has seen you. You know that God has seen your situation. This morning's just a word from the Word. I just want to encourage somebody today. God sees you. He sees your situation. He's not ignorant of what's going on in your life. Trust that God's eyes are on you. And in the right time, because He is seeing you, He will provide. You can take that to the bank. I've experienced that over and over and over in my life. I don't have time to give you testimonies, but just know that the God who provides sees the need and will provide accordingly in His perfect time and in His perfect way. Trust Him. This has been just a word from the Word. God bless you. Have a beautiful day, an amazing Monday, and Lord willing, we'll see you tomorrow morning.